In today's video, I am going to explain muscle anatomy that can be caused for round shoulder. Round shoulder is like your shoulder goes inward. This movement is called internal rotation. Internal rotation. And you don't see scapula, plus scapula is coming kind of inward. Okay, what kind of muscles create this position? It's basically anterior shoulder muscles and chest muscle. And first one is this one. This is pectoralis major. Pectoralis major, this muscle does internal rotation. Indeed, tightness of this muscle can be caused for round shoulder. Next one is this one. This is deltoid. Deltoid, particularly anterior fiber, right here. These two big muscles are so important for round shoulder. Plus, deep to pec major, there is pec minor, pectoralis minor. Pectoralis minor. Again, basically, anterior shoulder muscle and anterior chest muscles can create round shoulder position. And when anterior chest, anterior shoulder gets shortened, then what's going to happen? The posterior muscles get long, get stretched, then it's stabilized here, it's locked here. Then what's going to happen? There is tightness around shoulder, particularly for trapezius and levator scapula. Trapezius and levator scapula. And what causes this rounded shoulder? What causes the shortening of chest muscles? One reason is smartphone, tablet, and computer. We look computer and we bring head forward. This head forward position creates shortness of anterior muscles and elongation for back muscles. This is major cause. Now, I want to focus on kind of minor muscles, but these muscles are so important. I want to focus on two arm muscles today. First one is on front part of arm. This is biceps brachiae. Biceps brachiae. Why is this so important for shoulder position? Let me explain that. What is main function of biceps brachiae? That is elbow flexion. Elbow flexion. Plus, this muscle can do shoulder flexion. Elbow flexion and shoulder flexion. Thus, when biceps brachiae gets tight, tendency is this tightness brings elbow to flexion position. Imagine this is like neutral position of forearm. If biceps brachiae is tight, that brings forearm little bit anterior, tiny bit anterior. Not like big movement, it's tiny anterior movement. This tiny thing is very important. Plus, biceps does shoulder flexion. Shoulder flexion is this way. So your humerus also goes little bit forward. So basically your arm position goes anterior. This anterior displacement creates shortness for anterior chest muscle. You can imagine that. Imagine this is like a neutral position of arm. If biceps brachiae gets tight, your arm position goes slightly forward. Just slightly. But this slight displacement creates shortening around anterior shoulder and chest muscles. Then what's going to happen? What's going to happen to posterior muscles? They get long and stabilized here. Then you may have tightness and pain around here. So biceps is very important muscle. Right, you see arm muscles. This is biceps brachiae. It's on front part. If biceps gets shortened, that brings elbow to flexion position and also shoulder flexion position. Well, I said I'm going to explain two muscles, but let me explain a little bit more. Next one is this one. This is brachioradialis. Brachioradialis. This muscle also crosses elbow joint. Yep, this muscle does elbow flexion. What if this brachioradialis gets tight? That brings elbow to flexion. If elbow is brought to flexion position, tendency is the humerus tends to go to flexion position even though the shoulder flexors are not tight. Can you imagine that? If elbow is bent, the humerus tends to go to forward. Then what's going to happen to chest muscles? They lost space right here. Then trapezius gets elongated and levator scapula gets elongated and tightness is there. See, arm muscles are actually very important for posture of shoulder and chest. Alright, this is anterior muscles, right? Biceps brachii, brachioradialis, they are anterior muscles. Now, what's going to happen for posterior muscles? What's going to happen to triceps brachii? Alright, this is triceps brachii. What's going to happen if biceps brachii is shortened? What's going to happen for triceps brachii? If biceps is tight, elbow is in flexion position, so triceps is elongated. Why? Because main function of triceps is elbow extension. Extension of elbow. If elbow is in flexion position, triceps is slightly stretched. But what is problem? Isn't stretching a good thing? Yes, stretching is good for 30 seconds and 1 minute. It's not good for like 1 hour, 2 hours, 3 hours, right? But what happens if your triceps is chronically stretched out? Maybe there is tightness. So also tightness of triceps affects for shoulder movement and shoulder position. Again, when biceps is tight, triceps is also affected. And how come your biceps is tight? Again, one reason is using smartphone, using tablet, looking computer. Our elbow is constantly bent during office work or using smartphone. Like elbow is bent for 90 degrees for 3 hours, 4 hours in a day. Then what's going to happen for biceps? Sure, it gets tight. What's going to happen for triceps? It's stretched out and gets tight. What's going to happen for shoulder? Gets shortened. Trapezius is stretched out. Now you have tight shoulder right here. Does it make sense? So using smartphone for long time, using computer for long time is not good for arm muscles and for shoulder muscles. This is like a front and back relationship. Biceps is front, triceps is back. You can apply same thing for pelvic anatomy. Let's say this is pelvis. Imagine there is ilium right here. Now, when anterior hip muscles, anterior thigh muscles get tight, this tightness brings pelvis to anterior tilt. Anterior tilt. This brings pelvis forward. Now, what's going to happen for posterior muscles? What's going to happen for gluteus maximus and hamstrings? These muscles are elongated for a long time. Then, vice versa, what happens if hamstrings and gluteus maximus get tight? This tightness brings pelvis to posterior tilt. Posterior tilt. Then anterior muscles are elongated, and if this elongation is happening like a few days, few weeks, few months, few years, that creates tightness for both for hamstrings and quadriceps, thigh muscles, right? Now biceps and triceps are same thing. Now shoulder is affected. Whatever focus is tightness of shoulder joint. Then misalignment of shoulder joint can be from tightness of arm muscles. I hope this anatomy can help your career, like for yoga, Pilates, weight training and therapeutic situations. If you liked today's video, please hit the like button, comment and subscribe. See you next video.